We are back today with more Sherlock Holmes. We are reading The Hound of the Baskervilles. Um, Not too much has been starting off, has been really happening, but we have learned a few things. Um, First, the general premise is that there is an estate next to a moor owned by the Baskervilles. And a piece of legend that has gone down in the Baskerville family is that of the Hound of the Baskervilles. There is this giant dog that lived 100 years ago or something like that, um, and it killed one of the ancestors. And more recently, about 3 months ago, Sir Charles Baskerville, the father figure of the family. There's a couple other Baskervilles left, but they're very few. Well, he died, and it seemed to be from a heart failure, I think it was. Unclear, maybe. And they found footprints of an enormous dog or hound, short, like close by. Not super close, but like within like eyesight range. You could see the dog if there was a dog there. So there's a lot of intrigue because this dog is so massive, so large, has such vile characteristics about it. Red eyes, that sort of thing, glowing, that the question is whether we are dealing with someone or something that is supernatural versus something actually ordinary and able to be solved by someone using logic or handled by someone in the mortal realm. Nonetheless, they still wanted to find out the best logicians in the world, and so they came to Sherlock Holmes to try to figure out what is going on with this dog. Is there actually any risk to anyone who lives at Baskerville, or is this just all like a hoax? What's going on? And so part of why Dr. James Mortimer has come around, one, he was taking care of Sir Charles Baskerville before his death, but also he, like the next in line, the nephew of Charles, is coming into town and wanted Sherlock's advice as to what he should do with Sir Henry Baskerville. And whew, I don't know, just like a blast of pollen just got released from the trees or something, but whew. Okay, I apologize if I sneeze in the future. um, so yeah, Holmes is going around. They received, so when Sir Henry Baskerville, he got a letter, and the letter was made out of newspaper clippings instead of someone actually writing it, saying like, "Don't come to the moor, don't come to the estate. You'll be safer. Just stay away." So it was more of a warning. It didn't sound like a threat to me. But yes, the the envelope came from a hotel at a certain location. I think it was Charing Cross, and so Holmes sent this boy right out to go digging through all the trash of all the hotels near Charing Cross. And I think that about catches us up. Um, yes, Mortimer, I wrote this down because whenever cigarettes or cigars or ash or anything like that is mentioned, it's always relevant. For example, Sir Charles Baskerville was going on a walk. He goes on a nightly walk, or he went on nightly walks, and they discovered, for example, that he paused and waited for 5 to 10 minutes at the gate to the moor where the dog is supposed to live. Um, and they determined that because there were enough ashes on the ground to make 2 cigars. So that means he had to spend at least enough time to smoke 2 cigars. And thus, that is how we knew that he waited outside the gate to the swamp like area. So, maybe the author really loved his cigars and his smokes, but whenever they're mentioned, I like to include them. Okay, but that was about 5 minutes of summary, and we can go on to the 5th chapter and today's reading. Chapter 5, Three Broken Threads. Sherlock Holmes had, in a very remarkable degree, the power of detaching his mind at will. For 2 hours, the strange business in which we had been involved appeared to be forgotten, and he was entirely absorbed in the pictures of the modern Belgian masters. Hello. Did you come in? Did you synopsis of the story so far? I feel like it was just like the worst possible time. I literally just started reading the first sentence. Anyway, let me know if you want some reminders of what has happened in the past. For 2 hours, the strange business in which we had been involved appeared to be forgotten, and he was entirely absorbed in the pictures of the modern Belgian masters. He could talk of nothing but art. Okay. He would talk nothing but art, of which he had the crudest ideas, from our leaving the gallery until we found ourselves at Northumberland Hotel. This is where the two were staying, or at least where Henry. Okay, Sir Baskervilles upstairs. He asked me to show you up at once when you came. Have you any objection to my looking at your register? Not in the least. The book showed that 2 names had been added after that of Baskerville. One was Theophilus Johnson and family of Newcastle, the other Mrs. Oldmore and maid of High Lodge, Alton. Surely that must be the same Johnson whom I used to know, said Holmes to the porter. A lawyer, is he not, grey-haired and walks with a limp? No, sir, this is Mr. Johnson, the coal owner, a very active gentleman, not older than yourself. Surely you are mistaken about his trade. No, sir, he has used this hotel for many years, and he is very well known to us. Ah, that settles it. Mrs. Oldmore, too. I seem to remember the name. Excuse my curiosity, but often in calling upon one friend, one finds another. She is an invalid lady, sir. Her husband was once mayor of Gloucester. Gloucester. She always comes to us when she is in town. Thank you. I am afraid I cannot claim her acquaintance. We have established a most important fact by these questions, Watson, he continued in a low voice as we went upstairs together. We know now that the people who are so interested in our friend have not settled down in his own hotel. That means that while they are, as we have seen, very anxious to watch him, they are equally anxious that he should not see them. Now, this is a most suggestive fact. What does it suggest? It suggests, hello, my dear fellow, what on earth is the matter? Oh, well, just when we were so close to learning something. As we came round the top of the stairs, we had run up against Sir Henry Baskerville himself. His face was flushed with anger, and he held an old and dusty boot in one of his hands. So furious was he that he was hardly articulate, and when he did speak, it was in a much broader and more western dialect than any